Hello, guys. Welcome back to my show, Get Real with Jasmin. So, you're probably thinking, what the hell are you wearing right now? Well, allow me to explain this to you. So, my friend made this for me, and I have to honor her publicly because this is just so cute. But I never wear this kind of stuff before, so I hope that I'm wearing this correctly. But anyway, let's get started. So, I went to Abu Dhabi to see penguins a few weeks ago. And I know, we're way to start a podcast. We'll get there. So it was so crazy how close you get to be with these penguins because unlike how we usually see penguins at the zoo or whatever, there's no glass between you and penguins above from your shoulder. It's crazy how close you are. Like it's literally just right in front of you. So when I was having my moment with these penguins, I felt this overflowing love that I just wanted to jump across the glass, swim across a fake ocean, and hug them. And this is a very new feeling for me because I'm not a really loving person in real life. I'm not gonna lie. But it really got me thinking. We as human beings, when we look at those animals, we feel this natural love towards them. Not because they did anything for us, but just because of their existence. And if anything, we do things for them. We feed them, we clean shits for our dogs, for our cats, and cats are even worse. Like they give you that attitude even after everything you've done for them. But we still love them so much simply for existing. So how come when we look at ourselves, we always feel like we need to achieve something. We always need to do something in order to feel worthy. How come when we look at ourselves, that love is always conditional? And feel free to pause for a second and let that sink in because I don't think a lot of people ever think about this question. And I also really struggled with this before. I remember last year when I moved back home with my parents and I was reading this book, Untamed, one of the best books of all time, by Glennon Doyle. And in one of the chapters, she talked about how her wife would sometimes just lie on the couch and watch some zombie shows in midday. And that really irritated her. And she found out that it wasn't because that behavior itself is bad. It's because she grew up believing that resting is laziness. And you have to earn your worth by hustling. So when she saw her wife just lying on the couch and still feel worthy at the same time, this really bothered her because how come I am here doing, earning my worth and you can just lie on the couch there doing nothing and still feel worthy at the same time. So she realized that her wife's behavior wasn't the problem. The problem was her root belief about resting. And she wanted to change that. So she ended up this chapter by writing, and I quote, "Hard work is important. So are play and non-productivity. My worth is tied not to my productivity, but to my existence." And as much as I related to so much about what she was saying, because I also grew up believing that you have to earn rest. But when I finished that chapter, I cannot stop thinking about what she meant by saying my worth is tied to my existence. And so I went straight to my mom. I was asking her like, "Mom, I don't know why I am worthy. I don't know why my existence are worthy." And I remember I was crying, my mom was crying because I was just feeling so broken and I didn't feel worthy at my core. I didn't have a job at that time, and my whole life, I think my worth is based on my job. So not having a job at that time literally means that I don't feel worthy at all. And I did a lot of inner work after that. I did a lot of healing, and I finally started to feel worthy. So I remember very excitedly, I went to my brother, my younger brother, and I'm like, "Oh, I finally feel worthy of my existence." And then this dude looked at me and he said, "I too don't understand why my existence is worthy. Why I am worthy if I'm not doing anything. And even though I was feeling very worthy of myself at that time, I didn't know how I can explain this to him because it's just something that I feel. And I for sure know that when you don't feel worthy, it doesn't matter how supportive people around you are, how amazing people around you think you are, you're still not going to feel that. This is really a journey that you have to go on your own. You have to figure it out on your own. But when I saw those penguins, I was like, shit, I know how I can explain this right now. Because if you really, really think about this, when we look at those animals, we naturally want to protect them, want to take care of them, just want to hug them. But how come when we look at ourselves, we always need to pass that exam or get that job or lose 15 pounds in order to even be worthy of a day off or a good dinner? How does that make sense? Really think about this. Use the rational part of your brain, not the emotional part, but the rational part of your brain, and think about this. How does this make sense? How come we have two different standards when we look at animals and when we look at ourselves? And when we are babies, when we are born, let's not even talk about animals. When we are born, we also don't feel the need to earn anything, to be worthy of anything. All we did is sleeping and crying and eating. And you know why I'm talking about this right now? Because somewhere along the way, someone said something to you or something happened to you that makes you feel like you need to earn your worth, you need to earn love. You weren't just born like that. And the good news is, if that's something that you learned through your childhood and adulthood, you can unlearn this right now. I think most people that don't feel worthy tend to tie their worth to tangible outcomes. So you probably think that you need to have a certain job, live a certain life, or having a certain amount of money, or have a certain body shape in order to feel worthy. And for me, it changes through time. At first, I thought I have to lose weight. I need to have abs. And then I thought I have to get my dream job. And then when I got my dream job, I thought I have to get promoted. And then I realized, shit, it might never be enough. Because the thing is, guys, and listen carefully, as long as you keep externalizing your worth, you will never feel worthy. Because the problem was never in your external life. The problem is always in your mind. And I know I said this 3,000 times already, but human brain is very, very powerful. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. You get what you believe in. Our brains sort of work like a lens. So if today you decided that you want to put on an unworthy filter, your brain is going to start looking for things that prove you are unworthy. So even though now you think that you need to get that job in order to feel worthy, once you get that job, your brain is going to start looking for the next thing to prove that you are unworthy. That's why it's never going to be enough if you keep externalizing your worth. So now you know that the problem is never in your external life, but your internal life. Let's really talk about what we can do to feel worthy. So when I was looking at my own journey, I couldn't pinpoint what exactly that I do to make me feel worthy. It was just a lot of things that I was doing at the same time. And I think that's so normal because this is not something that you can just sit here and then be like, okay, today I decided that I want to feel worthy, and then tomorrow you will feel worthy. It doesn't work like that. If it's that easy, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now. But I do think that the first thing that you need to do is to decide that you really want to feel worthy. Stop hiding behind all these excuses that you're giving yourself. Stop saying that, because I haven't achieved this and that, so I don't deserve to feel worthy. Now, we talked about this. It's never about what you achieve. It's never about anything external. That is just your limiting beliefs about worth, and it can be changed now. So the only question I have for you is, do you want to feel worthy or not? And if the answer is yes, good, because you're going to achieve it. And the second thing is, start shifting your perception. You are not your thoughts. Remember, unworthy is just a filter that you decided to put on. And you can change this filter if you want. Okay, think about this. People that feel worthy and unworthy can have very, very different interpretation on the same thing, same situation. For example, say your manager gives you a feedback about your work. The person that feels worthy would think, great, now I know how I can improve, how I can get better. A person that don't feel worthy would think, oh my God, I'm so stupid, I just can't get anything right. You see, who do you think have a better chance to perform well? Who do you think will have a greater chance to succeed? Who do you think lives happier? You know, people who feel unworthy tend to deny their potential, become their worst enemy, become their most toxic friends before the world even have the chance to tell them no. I have a friend exactly like this. She is amazing, but she just never feel worthy or confident. And she was telling me over the phone a few weeks ago that she just started a job. And then she said, I am not good enough. That's what she said to me. And I'm like, girl, I'm not going to allow you to talk to yourself like this. Not under my watch. Like, you can say, I'm not good at my job yet, or I can still improve. But that has nothing to do with your worth as a person. So yeah, start challenge that voice. Just because you haven't achieved your goal yet, just because you haven't mastered in a certain skill yet, does not mean you are unworthy. And the more you challenge that voice, every time it pops up questioning your worth, the smaller that voice will get. The voice is still probably going to be there, but one day that voice won't have any power over you anymore, because you know whatever that voice is saying is not true at all. I still have voice telling me that you are not worthy sometimes, but then I can just choose to not believe it. I can okay, I see you, but I don't need to believe you. Now go away. That's how I talk to my fear and whatever, my self-doubt and whatever right now. Because the truth is, we human beings, we will always have things to improve on. And if every time you are faced with something that you are not good at, or you have a goal that you just haven't achieved yet, and you start questioning your worth, you will never feel worthy. So you got to really learn how to separate whatever that noise is from your own worth. And another thing that really helped me to know my own worth is spirituality. And I know a lot of people probably don't believe in this, probably think this is just a woo-woo thing, and that's okay. I respect that, because I used to not believe in this as well, so just take whatever suits you. But I have to be very honest with what actually helped me. So when I finally quiet down and start looked within, instead of searching for all those external things that we just talked about, I found a deep connection with a greater power. You can call it God, universe, divine, whatever you want to call it, but there's a deep connection there. And in this connection, I found this, not found, but felt this love that is so strong and so personal. I just feel so loved whenever I quiet it down and start meditating. And I just know that it doesn't matter what I did, where I am, what I'm going to do, I will always find that love deep within me. Once I tapped into that love, feeling worthy just becomes so natural. And that's also why in the beginning I couldn't really explain to my brother why exactly I'm feeling worthy of my existence. And also allow me to remind you, at that time I didn't have a job, I didn't have friends, I didn't have a boyfriend, I didn't have anything that I used to seek my worth from. That's also how I know you don't externalize your worth. It's always coming from you, 100%. Okay, and last I want to share a story. But before that, I feel I'm sweating, guys, because this thing on my head makes me feel so hot. But okay, anyway. I want to share a story that really helped me to rethink the way I judge myself. Is when before I moved to Dubai, I was packing my stuff and I found this diary from probably when I was 20 or 21 years old. And when I was reading my diary, it it genuinely broke my heart. Even right now, thinking about this makes me very sad. When I was looking at the things that I wrote, I just feel so sad about the way that I used to talk to myself. How I was so tough on myself, telling myself you're not worthy, keep pushing, like what a shame. Like you're such like it was just so toxic. We're not going to details, but I look at that thing and I'm like, I just want to give myself a hug. I just wanted to hug her. I just wanted to tell her that you are so worthy and you are such an amazing person. And that's also when I realized I don't want to wait another 5 years just to see how amazing of a person I am today. I'm going to tell myself right now, I'm going to give myself a hug right now. I'm not going to wait another 5 years. So, guys, just picture this with me. Imagine you 5 years from now that you have achieved all your goals. How would you talk to the person you are today? Will he or she beat you up so hard for not achieving your goal, or will he give you credit for showing up for yourself every day, for trying so hard every day? Will they tell you that you cannot rest until you achieve your goal, or will they tell you that it's okay to rest if you are tired? Really sit down and think about this. Start talk to yourself the way your future self will talk to you right now. Don't wait for another 5 years to only find out that who you are today is already amazing. Who you are today is already worthy. And yeah, that's all I got for today. And I want to say that I first have the idea for this episode right after I was crying to my mom saying that I don't feel worthy. I remember walking back to my room and then open my laptop and I just typed this title, How to Feel Worthy. Because in my head, I'm like, I will figure this out and I'm going to share it with people that needs to hear this. And at that time, I have no idea how I'm going to do this. I have no idea how I'm going to start feeling worthy after 20 years of not liking myself. So being able to make this episode is definitely very emotional for me. But my point is, a lot of times when you genuinely want to do something, you don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to know exactly what you have to do. Sometimes all you need is faith. You have overcome so much already. This is just another thing for you to overcome. And you are going to know it, just like you always did. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this episode. And remember, you are worthy no matter what. And I'm going to keep saying this until you goddamn believe it, okay? But anyway, I love you guys so much. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye now!